Hello everybody, welcome back to 7 Days. We are on day 25 of the D10 series. We are on the Nomad version, and we have got a few things we need to go do. We are finally in the version 1.0. We are in the full version. Welcome to, to the new Navezgane. For those of you who have just now got your hands on the console version, I am so happy you guys finally got your console version so you guys can see what the fuss has been about. But welcome in. I do apologize if you guys have missed the beginning part of my series. I would definitely recommend going back and watching it. There have been a couple of changes since the very beginning of this series, but we're getting like halfway through this series, so definitely go back and watch it, see how we got here, the changes that have been made up until this version 1.0 has hit, and I will be doing some tutorials and stuff like that for those of you who have just come from version whatever it was, what it was, alpha 15, 16, whatever it was for you guys, way back in the day. I'm going to be doing some Liz Labs, which is basically me showing or experimenting with the newest version, the AI, how the pathing works, all that kind of stuff. There are episodes coming out and already in the works. I have several people asking me if I was going to be doing Liz Labs. I am definitely doing Liz Labs. There are so many people who are brand new to the game, are brand new to this version of the game, for me to not do some tutorials to get you guys up to date on some of the things that have changed since the previous version. And welcome in if you are brand new here. I do apologize that you just now joined me on day 25, but I would definitely recommend going back and watching the previous one if you just happen to have a weekend of nothing else to do. It is a chance to see some of the changes that you might have missed already. For right now, we gotta go turn in a mission. Give me just a second. I do want to see how far along this is. Got about 4 minutes, yeah. Let's go ahead and run to the trader and turn this mission in, write down, oh my gosh, I can't get it in the hole. Anyway, there is, you know what? Yeah, I've been out of here a week, and I've already lost where I'm supposed to be. By the way, if you're wondering which, because I know some people don't realize that I record a little bit ahead. Right now, is the first day I'm back after having been sick for a week. I do apologize for missing a few days of uploads there. I do apologize. I was not actually able to sit up in order to edit the videos I had. I had videos, but I couldn't edit. And I don't have an editor, so if I don't edit, then, or editing Liz, if editing Liz doesn't edit, then nothing gets done. And if I can't sit up, I can't edit. So I do apologize. But that's where we are at now. I am on, let's see, 7/29/24. That is my date. So yeah, that's how far ahead I am. It's not very many episodes now. I was a week ahead. All that effort down the drain. But it's fine. I am feeling a whole lot better. I am feeling much, much better. I've still got a little bit of clogginess going, so if I get to talking weird, I do apologize. But during that the dropping of the new...
It's always a good day to buy some weapons.
It really, really is, Hugh. I do agree with you. The whole weekend when the console version dropped,
Good
I was sick.
job. Make sure and spend your reward on more guns and ammo.
Okay. I'll get the magazines, and that finished it, so we're good. Do I do a cobblestone? I feel like I do a cobblestone. I haven't even started working on my Horde base yet. Yep. We'll go with that one. I kind of missed the drop completely for the console version, so I do apologize, guys. It has been
Ask and see. My gear
time.
makes undead hesitate.
Okay, day 28. I usually come back after a new recording session and go ahead and write down at the top of my list what day my new restock day is, because I don't really keep up with it. I know that there's some math for it, but I'm not keeping up with the math for it, so it's fine. I do kind of want to buy your steel, but I'm not going to. We need to get our armor made. I was hoping you'd have some more sewing kits. And I've got my chemistry station back home I need to put in. Is there anything else? Everybody keeps telling me about nail guns. I can make the nail gun, it's just not high on my priority list. I can craft one and I'm not going to buy one. I'm actually saving my money to get the stuff I need in order to build a base. Okay.
You made a great decision.
Let's go ahead and get another mission. Why are you on tier 2s? Oh no, there's bug. Okay, Awesome.
I've got work if you don't just stare at my
Oh
innocent
man,
face.
I mean, I've got my new
Get your
trader
ass
though,
out there and
right?
get the job done.
You keep yelling, I'm gonna mute you, dude. Keep it up. No. That should have been the completion of my tier 4s. Which means I don't have my next trader for... Oh, man. Oh, that just completely screws it up. I'm supposed to be going to the Wasteland next, and I need my trader for the Wasteland, and if he's not going to send me to the Wasteland, I might be stuck here an additional week. Okay, so how do we handle this? How do we handle this? Okay. By the way, if you are brand new to this version and the way in which the Fun Pimps release updates and everything, just as a warning, that during the experimental releases and everything else like that, there is a chance that your save might get borked. And by borked, I mean like something might get changed, the map might fail, who knows. So either have a backup save, just in case you need it, or be ready to say, okay, this save is not okay anymore, let me move on to another game, and just be okay with that, either way you go. While this does mess up my current playthrough a little bit, I think we can work our way through that because the tier 2s and tier 3s are not going to take my character very long to bang our way through because my character's pretty OP at this particular point, which is kind of how all the characters get around this section, especially for the level that my character is. I did have someone in the previous video say that they were upset because I hadn't increased the difficulty. I have increased the difficulty, just my character is down tier 6s. All tier 6s, which means if at this point I'm not beating the crap out of the zombies, then there's something off about my character. If you get to tier 6 and you're not owning it, there's something wrong. Now, once we get to the Wasteland, we're in tier 6s and we go up to insane stuff. If I'm not having to pop medication in order to survive, there's also something wrong. So let's see if we can't get to that point too there. Okay. We just need a few more forged iron. I'm glad I didn't just go ahead and do that. In case you're wondering how to read this side right here is how many that you need. This right here is the side that tells you how many you have. Let's go ahead and get this thing out. There we go. Squeezed up here. Come on. And it was what? Boots? Or gloves. Craft. Okay. As such, on the whole, my character is a bit OP. Alright, I've got this. Do I go ahead and make a steel club? I need 60 more steel. Nice. Okay, all tier 6s. Now, obviously, some of this other stuff is not necessarily tier 6, but it's fine. I'm kind of enjoying having the bleed damage on my club this time. I usually do not do the bleed damage on my club. I usually do the chain metal mod because it offers a bit more knockdown. But I have to say, the bleed is helping. Okay, now what? We've already done all of the updates. We did our armor, we did, let's see. Armor, club, we've got our chemistry station in. We did get our our new level, and they sent us back to the old place. Ooh. Not in there. In here, do we have... Yes. Let's go ahead and get this stuff going. There we go. Get us a whole bunch of gas so we don't have to worry about carrying that with us. Okay, now we're on day 25. Day 28 is the new Horde night. I probably need to figure out what we're going to do for the Horde night. I don't know. Let's go do a mission instead. How's about I save that for my second episode for the day instead of my first episode for the day? I just want to go smack some zombies around. It's been a while since I was able to smack some zombies. I was sick, and I haven't had a chance to lay into some zombie head. So let's go ahead and do something about that. Oh man. Alright, we're definitely going to have to do like some really quick... Hold on, I'm gonna check your mail. As per the usual, I'm not saving these books for selling because it's really not that worth it. for the backpack space. We don't have an unlimited amount of backpack space. So, we can get some steel from those. What I'm gonna do is, since the console version is out, I'm gonna do a whole lot of extra explaining, and hopefully editing Liz will leave most of it in, instead of doing her memes, because apparently people don't like her memes. She does have an odd sense of humor. But, I'm gonna try and explain why it is I'm doing certain things that I wouldn't normally explain to people who have already been playing this for years, and it's like, yeah, we know why you're doing it. I'm taking apart the vending machines for steel and iron. It's one of the few things you can get it from in-world, aside from all of the light posts that hang out over the street will give them to you. It's just a pain in the butt to build up to them, so I don't typically do them unless I absolutely need steel, and I haven't gotten the crucible yet. Oh, man. Whoa, stop. What are you doing? Stop your thing, sir. Aha, there you go. There we go. I'll just beat them up a little bit. Wake somebody up. There we go. I was supposed to close the door. It did not happen. Okay. This particular room sucks. The only way to get out is to try and get back out there. Anyway, what I was attempting to do, I was not doing it very well. I do apologize. I was trying to shut the door in between us so that I could regulate how many bad guys I was having to fight at one time. Like I said, it's been like a whole daggone week since I played. I'm out of practice. My bad. It is. Okay, I will get back in practice the more episodes I do today, and then I'll forget by next week. Books. Art of Mining, that was the last one. Okay, we have... Oh, okay. We have books and magazines. The perk books here, you can read 1 through 7, and after you finish 1 through 7, you get a finished thing, like a... After you read all the series, you get all of these benefits. Are you in the room with me? No, you're out there. Okay. Anyway. After you read all of the books inside of a series, you get a finished out, I've completed the series kind of perk from it. In this particular case, I just finished the Art of Mining, and I gained 20% more ore during mining. And a lot of these abilities are really, really cool, so even if your character's not necessarily going into a specific thing, there's a lot of books regardless to which mode you're playing, which spec you're going into, which suit you're going to wear, that are also very, very useful. The mining one is a good one. The Fireman's Almanac is pretty good. The Great Heist is pretty good. The Lucky Looters ones are pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of them in here that are pretty good. The Lucky Looter, let's see, Urban Combat is another good one, and Wasteland Treasures. I mean, no silencers having no damage penalty. If you didn't know this, silencers all have damage penalties until you get this particular series taken care of. Wasteland Treasures, find more legendary parts. Would be amazing. That's a brand new one for this one. There's other ones like, let's see, with the batters up, power attacks that kill the enemy, refill your stamina meter. There's a lot of them that are like that, the ability, I think, at one point or another used to be into a perk, but now that they made the books, it actually goes... There, Enforcer sunglasses. I really don't need that. So it might be confusing because you might look it up and there's like old information on... we had a Horde outside, I think. Some of them found their way in and some decided to go the dumb way. Okay. Anyway, previous alphas, some of those abilities were in different sections. Like, they were inside of the abilities of one of the weapons. Like, Boomstick might, at the very end, give you... Not Boomstick, what am I talking about? Pummel Pete, at the very end, might have given you the... It takes no stamina, and it refills your stamina. It's not that way anymore. It's a magazine, so you might be operating with old information. But that's all of these books. And then our magazine books, which is our crafting magazines, that teach you how to craft certain levels of the stuff and things. After you read so many of them, it opens up the next tech tier. And inside each one of them, you might learn 1 through 5, 1 through 6, not 1 through 5, 1 through 6, but you can't craft the 6th one without the legendary part. Just so you guys know. But that's the difference between the books and the magazines. Magazines are for crafting, and the books are for, like, learning a particular set of skills, if you know what I'm saying. You guys have just steadily been coming in here. I'm just waiting on you at this point. Are we good? We good? Yeah, we're good. Okay, let's go. What I would really like is a Lydia, which is what I call the drone, because she has storage. And since I'm playing a nomad character, I have to move every single week, which this week might be a little bit off because of the update messing up my ability to get my next trader. I need my wasteland trader. I do wonder whether or not this update had any more balancing stuff happen. I haven't had a chance to look at the patch notes. Or rather, I haven't taken the time to look at the patch notes. Would probably be a better way of defining that. I have been slacking the last couple of days. Knock knock. When was the last time I was sent to this place? Slow down, sir. You're going to get a ticket. Go ahead and get that out of the way. My character is so not a stealthy person, but in order to make your character more stealthy, crouch down and turn your light off, and don't stand in a light source, because that does count. As you can see, I've got a bar that's on the bottom left-hand side that's got the eyeball. It goes down to 6, but if I stand over here, while I'm moving, it goes up. Okay, well, this light source is just as bad as that light source. Okay, well, it's just gonna... Not sure how far out of this light source I need to be in order for it to count, but you could tell by moving around just a little bit, crouch down, to see whether or not you can get into a quieter spot, as in no new light. And you'll get that additional sneak damage. Oh, he knew where I was at. Which I'm sure that was a mechanic also in the console version, but just in case there are brand new people here, that is a thing. The zombies have got several different senses they use to detect whether or not a person is there. First, there is sight, how much light you're standing in, how close you are to the zombie, all of those take into effect. The sound that a character makes, like reloading a weapon, dropping down, walking over trash, all that kind of stuff counts towards sound. Activity counts towards sound. And then there is the sense of smell, which is a random factor. The sense of smell is whether or not they randomly detect you, regardless. Where did the other guy go? He just took off. This random factor, this random number, 1 through whatever it is. Oh, he looks very surprised. Is called its sense of smell. And just sometimes, randomly, for whatever reason, the zombies will detect you. They must have gone upstairs. No, they're right here. I was supposed to say they're having like a pounding fit inside of the locker room, and then I realized, you know, that probably would not sound right, so I'm not going to say it. But then I wound up saying it because it's something that occurred to me anyway, so I have to say it. Did you go up there and wake somebody else up? How dare you? Working vending machine. Also, do not try to take apart the working vending machines. They will shock the crap out of you. I was like a split second too late. And those guys, if you don't kill them fast enough, they will explode, and it does hurt. Typically, in a lot of these buildings, there is an assigned path. Not every building nowadays has an assigned path. Some of them are just like, things are in random places, but a lot of the older designs especially, you could tell which way they expected you to go. And if it gets a little bit on the, I don't know, the less defined side, they usually put like a light pointed towards an area where they expect you to go. That way you don't wind up missing like loot, main loot, bad guys, that kind of thing. There has been an increase in the amount of POIs that don't have that anymore. Come on back around here, dude. Oh, I was fully expecting you to come through the building. What is that? Your daily quest progression limit has been reached? Oh, because I finished that quest. Wait, what? Oh, man. That sucks because, this character is going to be severely nerfed by that. I am not going to be able to get to the Wasteland as fast as I wanted to. This character specifically is built for the Wasteland. And the reason I say I can't get there, I can get there, I can just drive there before anybody points that out. I know that is completely possible. Weird, I know. But, I was actually doing that as part of the game, is when I finish a set of quests, they send me specifically to the trader in the Wasteland, because there can be more than one town. And, I want to be sent to the proper trader. Okay. So, they nerfed it. They nerfed questing. Alright. Pause. Let me cut myself off here, sort of. I am giving a little bit more leeway back to the Fun Pimps as far as this being a bad choice, because there is actually a setting for daily quest progression limit. A thing that it just seemed like it was so out of the blue. I was like, there's no way there's not a setting to change that. If there should be, if there isn't one, then I'm going to request that maybe that's something that they put in here for us to augment. But it's already here. Like I said, I was out for an entire week, very, very sick, still kind of sick. I did not read the patch notes. It's in here. If you want to change it for yourself, if you're doing a particular playthrough, if you want to limit how many you can do per day, obviously it goes all the way down to... unlimited. It goes down to 1. I'm just going to put it on unlimited, so it will not limit how many we do. I will say that augmenting the beginning part of a playthrough to make up for the fact that there is no ending on it is probably a bad way to handle it this late in game development. That now it really, really needs to be about adding in that in-game stuff instead of nerfing the beginning part. So even if I go do quests for other traders, it still won't count towards quest progression. I mean, you could still do them, that way you're still getting loot and everything, it's just not... Okay,
Not one of those white
blueberry pie though, dude!
What can I...
I'll get your wood so I don't have to worry about, you know, going to get my own.
Shut it for you. Permanently.
I miss the good old days when the traders were actually somewhat pleasant. Am I the only one who misses this? Cannot be the only one who misses this. By all of them? Duh.
Keep it coming.
Okay, so I'm not going to get another mission then because it's not going to count. Okay, let me just go ahead and say this. As a content creator for 7 days, there are going to be updates and changes made to the game that the content creators and or fans of the game may not agree with. And the Fun Pimps are obviously able to make the choices for their game that they feel like are implemented for a reason, and we may not understand that reason. Let me clarify that. To say that there's not a small problem with the game, and by a small problem, I would say it's actually a major problem that will eventually be resolved, but until that part is resolved, this problem cannot get fixed. And the issue with the main problem with 7 Days to Die is the fact that there is no end game on 7 Days. And because there is no end game, the content kind of dries up about the time you hit all of your tier 6 stuff. because there's really nothing more that you can do. You'll get a couple of extra bad guys if you're not already seeing demos. If you're not already seeing spitters during your horde, you'll start seeing those, and you'll start seeing those inside POIs. That is all bad guy progression. The issue with 7 Days is there is no story progression. I'm not talking about traitor progression, which they just nerfed. I am talking about story progression because there is no story yet. As far as there's atmospheric story. There's a lot of atmospheric story, which is absolutely gorgeous to see whenever you see it. But the information about the Duke, that we're just now getting like lines of dialogue that we're hearing from other traders besides just Jen, because Jen used to be the only one who would talk about the Duke, really. There have been a lot of changes to nerf the game's progression early game to extend the life of the particular run. Typically, a run will be, according to the way that I know this now, editing Liz, please work with me here. Don't cut all of this out because it is kind of important for, I don't know, my review up till now and my views as a content creator, which may or may not be okay. I don't know if we're allowed to speak ill of 7 Days. I don't think that they're those type of developers. They're awesome developers. So I think they're going to appreciate any kind of feedback, especially when it's meant in a I hope the game fixes this kind of way. The main content for the game is supposed to be a storyline that has not been implemented. And as far as I know, it's like several versions out from having a storyline implemented. I don't know how much work has gone into the story yet, as far as the developers have been doing right now. I do know that it is on the list of to-dos, and has been for a while. They've talked about it. But like the POI where it's created and everything else like that is already done. Now, we have said for probably a few alphas now that they are constantly nerfing the beginning part of the game to elongate the playthrough of the game rather than building on the back end of the game to give us more content at the end. Now, what that means is you could stretch out levels 1 through 100 by nerfing how often you can go do things, how slow it is to get magazines, how low the loot limit is, how much it takes to kill the bad guys. All of that stuff is working to stretch out the beginning part of the progression, but at some point you will always reach the point where I'm overpowered and there's nothing left to do. That's always going to happen with the characters because the in-game hasn't been worked on. There are no in-game bosses, which is one thing that I think a few people have asked for, but I think a lot of us who have played other games outside of 7 Days, it's like, okay, we've got these bad guys, and we can only go to demos. Okay, demos are pretty serious. But as far as like a big boss bad guy that we're looking for, we don't have that. The closest we've got is Grace. And I wouldn't say that she really counts as anything more significant than maybe a demo. And demos are a little bit stronger because, you know, they explode, but there's no bosses. I liken this to, I don't know, if you play Darkness Falls, which is a mod for 7 Days, definitely a very good one if you haven't tried that one out. As soon as mods come to any of the consoles, which I'm not sure whether or not mod support is coming to the console versions, I would think at least the Xbox will get mod support. Don't quote me on that, but I would think so. Darkness Falls is one that I definitely recommend. And in that one, they go through the progression of the bad guys the same as the base game does, but they also tack on at the end another group of bad guys that also have their set of progression. Like you get the basic types of these, you get a more advanced type of these, and then you get some that are just bad guys. So there's our normal selection of bad guys, and then you've got some upper tier bad guys, which is pretty cool because it extends out the back end of the game instead of the beginning part of the game and stretching the beginning part. I think we're at the point where the beginning part of the game has been stretched so much, it has gotten a little, well, it's transparent at this point that the beginning part is being stretched rather than the back end being worked on. There needs to be, I don't know if boss bad guys are a thing, but if that is a thing that needs to happen, then that's a thing that needs to happen. But the end part of it, and I don't know actually if it's the end, because I don't think they've ever actually defined this, and I do apologize. This is just going to be a rant because we're like at the end of it anyway, and this is my first episode back, in the brand new version, the whole thing. This is my viewpoint for this. The introduction of the Raiders is supposed to be the back end addition that we're all waiting on. Once you get past the zombies, we're going to have these Raiders that we have to contend with, and they're going to be harder to deal with. As a content creator for this, I am anxious for the Raiders to show up and hope that they're not just like bad AI aimbots. That there are some mods that add in NPCs into the game, and some of them are bad. And the AI is really horrible on them. No offense, it is cool to add them into the game because, it's something different to add into the game, but ultimately the NPC additions aren't really good in and of themselves. They're not a good AI to run for 7 days. If you were to play any other game out there and you have NPCs that have guns or weapons or whatever, you could tell when you're being aimbotted. And you could tell when their AI is just absolutely horrible because they're just running in place, they're running into things are not working properly. Me personally, I've said it more than once, I would love it if they would take the zombies back to console version AI and have some of the upper tier zombies, like maybe if you want to stick to the tiers of zombies that we have right now, the irradiated ones gaining the abilities of this version's AI, which is a smarter zombie. Me personally, I think that they should do that across the board, like have the lower end zombies kind of really dumb, and then the later end zombies kind of smart. Because in that case, the early end zombies, you can make a particular type of base for them, which would be console version bases. Everybody knows that's played this game for a while. The style of base that you can make then was different than the style of base you can make now. Once you start getting the zombies that are upper tier zombies that have the AI style now, mixed in with the lower tier zombies that have the dumb AI going, if you do that, then the Horde base is completely... Well, the Horde base is completely borked because people would have to figure out a way of accounting for both of those AIs. And then there needs to be a third AI controlling the Raiders whenever they show up. They do not need to be controlled by the same AI as the zombie AI, because a zombie AI should not gear towards a door. And if you put a door and a block next to each other, they will go to the door as long as the hit points are similar. At a certain threshold, they will go over towards the blocks, but it has to be like a huge difference in hit points. The AI for Raiders should always preference a door, ladders, things like that. They should actively stack on top of each other, like too high, and try to get to ladders and stuff like that. I think in these ways you can nerf a whole lot of stuff that people are doing with Horde bases and stuff like that. But those additions stretch out the middle part of the game and the end part of the game rather than just stretching out the beginning part of the game. That rant is over. I do apologize. That's a long rant to say that instead of stretching out the beginning part of the game and the middle part of the game, the end part of the game is what people really, really want. And finding more ways to nerf the beginning part of the game are only going to make people unhappy and point it out. That's just how it is. I'm sorry to say, should there be a limit on how many missions you can do? I think it encourages people to go off script and go find other POIs. So in that way, yeah, it's probably a good implementation. Given the fact that we are in an elongate the beginning part of the game type of situation, I don't particularly care for it just because I can't see the ending part of it, which I know that the Fun Pimps are already working on. In the Fun Pimps we trust, or whatever. They're working on that. They're eventually going to get it figured out, and it will be implemented beautifully, obviously. So I'm going to leave that part there. It's frustrating because my stuff got nerfed, and this particular point I actually needed to progress. It will be okay. We're going to figure this stuff out. And even if they do nerf the beginning part of the game, I have a feeling once the end part gets put in, that some of that stuff will also probably get changed. Because then it'll be obvious that it wasn't actually needed once the other parts get added in. Cannot be installed into heavy armor? Are you serious? Hell no, you're not allowed to be more armored in your armor. How dare you? Given what we know about Now we don't know that we will be able to move on with this next one. I might be here an additional week, which is fine. My series usually stop on day 49. 7 times 7 is 49. That's what day we usually stop. I do have an additional time. I was planning on spending 2 weeks in the Wasteland. We might wind up having to spend 2 weeks here instead. So we're going to need a Horde base that might have to survive more than one day. What if? And even so, I have all the time, anybody who's been watching my series knows that after I verify that my Horde base does in fact work, I typically will spend a lot of my last half of my Horde outside running around with the zombies anyway, only utilizing my Horde base for going up to heal. I don't actually use my Horde base to sit up there. I'll sit up there during the first part of it to conserve ammo, and then for the last half of my Horde, I'll run around with the zombies and just jump up and heal, and then go back out with the zombies. This is only a tier 2. I just kind of want to pop in here and see if there's something over here that I could use for a Horde base. I don't think so. This is a flimsy building as well. Nice. Yeah, I don't think so. There's really nothing back here I can use. Whoa, he hot to eat, dude. What are you doing to her? Oh my gosh. What happened to my stamina? He broke the door anyway. She... Okay. Alright. I'm going to say something has been nerfed, because even... It actually wouldn't surprise me. Why are there so many cops inside this tiny building? My leg is sprained from that? What even happened? He broke my arm and leg spitting on me? Okay, okay. This might just be... It's been a week, and I'm not used to something. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. Today was kind of weird getting back in the swing of things, and then noticing that there have been several changes that are going on with the game that I'm not sure how I feel about. You guys let me know down in the comment section what your experiences have been so far. There's a lot of games that don't account for the casual player, and this is definitely a change that does not account for a casual player. So I'm usually... I don't know how I feel about this, guys. I'm gonna have to say I don't like it. Ultimately, I'm gonna say, hands down, I don't like it. I personally like grinding missions on particular days after I've gotten something done, and on the server, whenever I climb in, I like to grind out my missions and do my boring stuff on other days if I have time to, like mining, because, my god, because mining. I don't like to try and grind out missions off there because of... That's just content that I could be doing during a stream. So I think not only is it casual unfriendly, it's content unfriendly, and it's another way of extending out the beginning part of the game without adding stuff in on the back that that people have actually been looking forward for a long time. But those of you who are in the console, I do apologize. You guys are operating with basically a brand new game, so I do apologize for that little bit of doom and gloom. I just realized that that was a thing. They had been talking about it, but I didn't realize it had been implemented. So far, that's really the only concern I have, is a limit on progression. It's like, progress this far, this fast, do these things, but then no, hurry up and slow down. And by the way, if you're in a server, you're screwed if you're a casual player. Console players, I am so excited you guys are finally with us on all of this brand new content. And I can't wait to see you guys down there in the comment section along with everybody else. Let me know, are you on PC? Are you on console? Are you enjoying the new version? How do you feel about this nerf on progression? Anyway, like I said, I will see you guys in the next one. You have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye!